Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Talk with AVC. My name is AVC. And I'm here with the MLB segment here at 11 o'clock. And let's get it going. So we're now fully into the offseason with the World Series over, so we got to take a look at some stuff. This is mostly going to be Yankees Mets stuff because that's most of the information I have right now. I will work towards getting information on more teams as we get a little deeper into the offseason. So there was basically a confirmation message by Yankees general manager Brian Cashman yesterday about the willingness to go after aces like Strasburg and Garrett Cole. A lot of people are making a big deal out of it, thinking that means they're the primary targets. Yeah, I've seen enough of Cashman to believe that, he'll make an attempt. He's not going to – still don't think he'll break the bank for them, though. The most Yankee thing, the most Brian Cashman thing ever would be to hype us all up with like a Garrett Cole or Steven Strasburg, and then we end up signing Zach Wheeler. No offense to Mets fans, but that'd be kind of a letdown. If you ask Giancarlo Stanton, he wants Strasburg and Cole to come here, along with Rendon too, I think. He just wants the Yankees to go back to the old way of just paying top dollar everything for stars. And while I do think they definitely should sign one of them, I'm not sure the money will allocate, the resources will align for them to try to sign both of them. Strasburg, with his injury history, I would prefer Cole, but I don't know if I want to give him $300 million, which is apparently somewhere in the ballpark of what he wants, which is somewhat ridiculous, but that's what you pay for a big ace these days. So that moves into my next question here, because I mentioned it with Giancarlo Stanton's thing. Should the Yankees target Anthony Rendon? This year the Yankees had some interesting situations at the corner infield spot, specifically with Gio Urshela, Miguel Andujar getting injured rather quickly, DJ LeMahieu playing a lot there. There was a lot of rotation there. So with it looking like Didi Gregorius might not be back, with Gleyber Torres moving full-time to shortstop and LeMahieu moving full-time mostly back to second, Voit and Bird platooning back at first, doesn't make sense for the Yankees to go out and pay a guy like Rendon to anchor the hot corner. I'm definitely not going to say I'd be opposed to the idea. I don't think anybody would, especially after the playoffs he had. He's a great hitter. He's a great contact hitter. He's a great power hitter, and he's a great anchor at hot corner at third base. I just feel like some other team will offer him more money than the Yankees will. And I know that sounds kind of odd given the fact it's the Yankees, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a team like the Angels or some team like that offer him some ridiculous amount of money compared to the good but not ridiculous offer the Yankees would give him. I would like Rendon, but I think the Yankees still want to give Miguel Andujar another shot, given the injury he had this year. And maybe see what they have in Urshela still. See if he was a one-year wonder, or just maybe he's a diamond in the rough. He just needed the Yankees, needed a new team. So that moves on to the next thing we're analyzing the roster now. Who do you trust for next year? Because with Gardner and a couple of other veterans, Gardner's, it's already looking like he might come back, but still, with Maven and a couple other guys gone, there are going to be some new bodies in there. There's going to be some guys who are going to be tested for their value before they're either traded or something like that. Clint Frazier, Miguel Andujar, Ellsbury, and Urshela are the names that I would think of. Clint Frazier, that's been a debate for a while with Yankee fans. I'm actually a big Clint Frazier fan. I wouldn't say big. I'm a Clint Frazier fan. I actually like him as a player. Sadly, I just don't know if the Yankees are the right fit for him. And here's why. As people have always said, Frazier's best part is his bat, and he's not complete. He's a defensive liability when he plays right field. When he plays left field, he actually plays solid defense, but I don't know if left field is what they're going to look for him to do. But with his bat, he's a very good contact hitter, and he has some power. I think he could be the kind of bat the Yankees could need in the lineup, but if you're going to package him and get like a really good reliever, really good starter, or even another superstar, I'm not going to complain too much, but I think he'd be a guy who, like Urshela, would do really well, I think, with a fresh start, which makes me sad, but hey, hope Red Thunder gets the best. So the next one was Jacoby Ellsbury. If you're a Yankee fan, you talk about this name with dread, not only when he was on Boston, but after his numerous amount of injuries with the Yankees. it's gotten almost laughable at this point. You got to look at it from this perspective that he actually will be back. And the last time he was back for a decent amount of time, he actually played all right, but it's been about 2 years, I think, since he played full time. Who knows how much of his legs are left, especially on defense. Who knows how much of his glove is left? His arm is gone. His arm was gone 2 years ago. With Aaron Hicks getting Tommy John, they're going to need an outfielder, and no one's going to take on that contract unless you could package him with a prospect. So what do you do here? Do you give him one last chance, see what he can do? I mean, you don't have a ton of options. I would try to almost package him, even if you could package him with like a Herman or a Chance Adams or something. If you're trying to package him with one of your mid-level prospects to get like a low mid-level prospect just to dump the salary, that's what I would do. But who knows? Maybe he'll come back and he'll at least be a decent contact hitter. I don't even know if he can do that anymore. This is definitely his last season in pinstripes. I think this is the last year of his contract. Thank God. Now we move on to another team, past the Yankees. Where do the Mets go from here? Now, the Mets are in kind of an interesting situation because they've been combined with this for a while. Now they have a roster with a lot of underperforming veterans and a lot of overperforming youth. They're kind of in a weird holding pattern. Now, normally you would just say, well, let's just move out the older guys. Well, here's the problem with that. The contracts they give them these older guys are ridiculous. Todd Frazier is earning way too much money to be moved. Guys, Robinson Cano is still on that humongous contract. Wilson Ramos is still getting paid a decent amount of money. Juan Lagares, guys like that are still making big chunks of money, including in the starting rotation. You got DeGrom, Syndergaard's getting paid. You might see if you can bring Wheeler back. You got a lot of pitchers in there. Marcus Stroman's now going to start making some money soon. And then you got all these young guys. You got to try to find a way to either just dump these contracts with the veterans and maybe just not get a great return, or just live with them until that. I guess that's the only other option. It's not a great option, but it might be the best. And who knows, maybe some of these veterans can find their fountain of youth for one last season to help the Mets make a little playoff push next year. So this has been a big topic. Who is the odd guy out in Boston? For any of you who don't know, Boston has been paying like $30 million over the luxury tax since they won the World Series. They are in a huge amount of basically debt. And the owner is going to need to find a way to supplement that debt. Well, how do you do that? Well, you have to move some big contracts, because what a lot of people don't know about sports in particular, especially with baseball, owners pay for almost all this operations out of their own pocket. It's not like they get money from somewhere. They pay most of the stuff from what they own. That's why like the A's don't have a ton of money. It's not totally based on the market. It's partially based on the market, but it's partially also based on the owner only being able to spend a certain amount of money on baseball operations. So if Boston, you really got to look at three guys. You got to look at Chris Sale, JD Martinez, and Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts hasn't made his money yet, but one of these guys was basically charged to get the axe as soon as they paid Xander Bogaerts a massive contract. In my opinion, I think Martinez was probably the odd guy out. Even though he says he wants to stay and he picked up his option, I wouldn't be shocked to see he's the one who gets moved, because Betts would demand a massive overpayment, especially since he's about to be a free agent, and you don't want to just let him walk. He's the best player on your team. Chris Sale's your best pitcher, and with your awful bullpen, you can't really afford to lose him. JD Martinez is basically a really good DH. You'll probably find an American League team that you could dump his salary on. All right, well, thank you, everybody. That's going to do it for this baseball segment here of the Talk with AVC. We'll be back in a few minutes with the college one. Thank you all very much for watching. See you in the next segment.